Okay, students. So, in disaster management in unit number 3, we have seen in previous class itself various factor affecting your disaster due to development. Okay, that is the thing which we were dealing with unit number 3. So, we were saying based upon development what was the change in disaster. So we have seen various factors that are contributing for the change in development with respect to your disaster. So then we have change with the climate change. So due to climate change, what happens or why climate is changing and all that we have seen. Then we have seen with today we are going to see the scenario in with respect to India. Okay. So yesterday we have seen what is IPCC. Okay. So the application of climate change specifically for India with the observation from synthetic report. See what this is disaster itself. Disaster management is a separate paper for civil engineering students where they similar to your project report you can do project on disaster, so only they call it as report and all. Okay, so this was observation will be there, and based upon the observation they will do synthesis, which means they will predict. See, they will take for last 5 years or 10 years and they will predict the upcoming years. So that is why it is called as observation. From that observation they will go for synthesis report, and last framed report for India is AR5. So this AR5 says that effect of climate change on weather, agriculture. So yesterday we have seen what is climate change, but this is with respect to India we are going to discuss today. So what we have seen yesterday is in general. So with respect to India, effect on climate change on weather, then what is the change on agriculture, forest and trade, then comes the health of the people, then adaptation. So what is the adaptation? Then on the whole we come under continent called Asia. So we will see with respect to Asia as a perspective, as a continent, what is the change is been there. So okay, so let us start with effect of climate change on weather. The largest chunk of IPCC synthetic report focus on change in weather pattern and projection related to extreme weather event. These change are expected to have a cascading effect. See, only change in yesterday itself we have seen, if the pollution is increasing, the increase in pollution will increase in temperature, and this increase in temperature, it is not only going to show in the form of heat waves, but this will have a consequent effect. So it is cascading. So one will be given something to the next fellow, and this will be in the form of cascading and leads to so many issues. Okay, so at a annual temperature of India in 2030, that is what I told. This topic itself they will ask for 16 mark question. They will say explain about IPCC synthetic report on India. If they ask, you have to tell they have collected the data, and this collected data is been forecasted. So they will tell about the near future. So net annual temperature in India in 2030 with respect to 1970s, since they are speaking. So they might have taken the data from 1970 and they might have done investigation, and they will conclude what will be the increase in temperature. So increase is from 1.7 degree to 2.2 degree. See, you don't think it is 1.7 and 2.2, it is it's expressed in terms of degree, not in terms of Fahrenheit. So it is a very huge increase in temperature. The extreme temperature are expected to increase by 1 to 4 degree. Even if it rises to 4 degree, then it will be a very massive change in temperature with a massive increase in coastal region. So by this what will happen is, the places where as per your record where you don't have rain, you will have rain due to this increase in temperature. I think you might have, even now you might have seen, there was very heavy rain in Rajasthan. All this is because of due to this change in temperature. Okay, so the number of monsoon break days has increased, while the number of monsoon depression has declined. So I think you might have heard about Kerala issue last year before. What happened is very heavy rain, so that will happen. So either monsoon will not come, or if it is come, it will be extended beyond the days which we have already been calculated. So that is what they mean to say. The mean and extreme precipitation during the Indian summer monsoon is expected to increase. So that is the second problem. Then Himalayan region will see maximum increase in precipitation, while northeastern region will experience the minimum increase. But if the temperature in Himalayas increase, what happens is ice starts to melt. This ice starts to melt, more amount of water or the water level will increase. The increase in water level from the top of Himachal Pradesh will gain some mass into acceleration, and this will be very fast, and this will try to ruin the low lying areas. The projection indicates that the frequency of cyclone is likely to decrease in 2030 with increase in cyclone intensity, which means in a year you tell there is chance for cyclone for 3 to 4 times, that will not happen, but it may come for one time, but with a very severity. So you will have more damage. See, if we have to get cyclone, then only we will get water, but the number of times the cyclone hitting your country will reduce, and if it is hitting, it will be hit with very high intensity. Okay, again this is a problem, because if water has been, we are getting water at regular interval, then we can store or we can use whatever we can do, that is what we know. But if at the same time itself it is intensity is high, then the water, usually rainfall will tell in terms of so it will be very high, and that may lead to so many other problems. Okay, the projection, that is what they say. Then the people living in districts along the east coast of India as expected to be especially vulnerable to the impact of extreme weather event because of poor infrastructure and geometrical development. This is, I think you all know, there is two Eastern Ghats and Western Ghats, and this east coast of India is where we are living. So whenever there is cyclone are coming to our side there is slope is in reverse direction, so we will face the consequences very bad as what usually Western Ghats gets the rainfall. See, there is a difference. That is what they say, based upon your geography development and geographical infrastructure. So all this is there with respect to effect of climate change. Then flood and drought are likely to increase in India, since there will be a decline of seasonal rainfall coupled with the increase in extreme precipitation during monsoon. So precipitation should not be there, which means harmful gases are brought to ground level and mixed with sand, that leads to agriculture problem, or that will leads to drought. Whatever you put, yield will not be there. If yield reduce, automatically your output will come down. Okay, for example, they have written in a river basin in India will see an increased possibility of flood in September, while it is increased possibility of water scarcity in April. So if it is uniformly distributed, then we will have water for all the month. But if sometimes increases, automatically we are forced to open all the dams. So once if you are forced to open all the dams, then water will go to sea, because see, if 80 mm is allowed and this 80 mm rain is going to come for 4 times, then no problem. Think about 80 into 4 coming at a particular season itself. What will happen? It will be very drastic increase in the level of water, but unfortunately we cannot store, so we will open all the dams, so all water will go to sea. So by September, the water which you have got, you cannot able to store, so we have opened all the places. So by the month of April, we will have scarcity of water. Delhi is the one of the world 5 most populated cities that are located in area with high risk of flood. Okay, so that is what they mean to say. So all this they have calculated and they have given this. Then climate change will especially affect the livelihood of the people, that we all know. Agriculture, there is a time for rain during agriculture. If that is missed, then that may leads to problem that will damage the yield. Okay, in India, the estimated country-wide agriculture loss in 2030 will be 7 million. Okay, 7 billion, which is a very huge amount. It will be severely affect the income of 10% of the population. Okay, then monsoon gain yield is projected to decline by 2 to 14% by 2020, with worst yielding by 2050 and 2080. This may be same, or even there will be some change. Just they are predicting, they are doing some synthetic passes and they are predicting and telling us. Okay, so there can be even change. Okay, then comes your agriculture, forest and trade. Wheat yield in Indo-Gangetic plains are expected to increase at 50% reduction in the most high yielding area due to heat stress. This region currently produces 14 to 15% of the world wheat and feeds around 2 million people of the region. So if it is reducing, you cannot supply, so obviously you have to get it from other country. So when you import, automatically you are in the hands of others. So what is the rate which they tell you have to buy, and this will leads to trade issues. With the current temperature approaching critical levels in North India in October, and South India in April and August, and in the East India from March to June, rice development will be affected. So I think you all know, for rice and all requires, initially you require water, and thereafter at a particular point of time you should not get any rain. So if it is there, it will be totally spoiled. So that is what they mean to say. The third of the forest area in India are projected to change by 2100, with reduction forest changing to evergreen ones due to increased precipitation. Human pressure are however expected to slow these changes. So we have predicted that forest area is reducing, so you have to try to maintain the forest, like planting new trees inside this. Even I think with Varda we have lost so many trees, and we have to plant. And again, if you plant, you cannot make the tree to grow completely within 5 years or 10 years. So it may take even 20 years or 25 years. So till that time we have to wait. That is the issue. Okay, that is the problem with the forest. Deep forest, you at one day you can easily destroy but again, rebuilding of forest takes more than 15 to 20 years, and within that 20 years temperature will rise and you have to face the consequences. So that is what the problem. With India's GDP growth, transport emissions are growing much faster than the value of trade, leading to further increase in greenhouse gases. This is because the rate is increasing, and you have to use some better way of transporting, like going with railways or any other thing, rather by individually. If transport is being done, more amount of transport vehicles will be there, and more amount of transport vehicle means there will be more amount of emission. So again, when more amount of emission, then your temperature will rise. Okay, so you have to go for cheapest way of transport with reduced greenhouse gas emission. Okay, that is the mandatory thing. You have, for each and everything, you should not go for individual transport. You have to go for public transport for transporting the goods, so that the emission will be less. Then comes health. We all know that if pollution is there, always your health will get deteriorated. One good thing because of this, our country is, we are not like other countries, we are not affected by corona. The reason is our lungs are already prone to pollution, so our lungs are capable of offending foreign object, or in other words, if you say your immunity is high, so since our immunity is high, even though corona strikes you, if you are not having any other complications, like if you are not having any complication on lungs, your heart or any other thing, we are trying to escape. I think we all know what is the role of lungs. Role of lungs is to take the air from the outside separate oxygen alone, and this separated oxygen should be carried to all the other organs which is working through blood. Okay, if this lungs is get affected, the oxygen from the atmosphere to your blood will decrease, and if this is decrease, all the organs will not receive the same amount of oxygen. And if some fellow is weak, already weak, then what happen, that fellow will be unable to work properly because of insufficient of oxygen, so that may fail. So that by that only we are in India, we have death due to corona, because already some organs are like heart surgery, lungs, liver, kidney, like that. If you have any issues, then only this corona is going and affecting and make the person to die. Whereas when you take the same condition of US or any other country where pollution is less, their lungs are not prone for pollution, their lungs have less immunity. Since less immunity, that corona itself is able to kill the person. So in India, corona is only aiding for death, not cause for death. But on other hand, we are not supposed to take this in a positive way. See, we have to try to reduce the pollution level. So when you only reduce the pollution level, then the health of the people will be there. So that is what we mean to say pollution induced changes in air, water quality, as well as changing weather pattern are expected to have wide ranging effect on health of India according to the report. In addition to the flood death, contamination of urban flood water will increase the risk of waterborne diseases. Okay, so contamination and all you have to take into account. So that may leads to so many issues. See, water you might have stored it and you might have thought that you will use, but if it has been contaminated, then what happens? That water will become waste. I think even nearby our place like Chengalpattu, you all know, there was a big lake in Chengalpattu which can be able to deliver water for even Madras. Now they are that water has been contaminated, so now we are unable to use this. Each and every individual should take care of this. They should be aware that it is a natural resource and we are supposed to safeguard, not to pollute. So mental disorder, see, if any contaminated water is being given, when this contaminated water enters, this contamination means like some chemicals that should not enter to our body, like sulfur, all such things. You all know sulfur, phosphorus and all. See, that is nature. Your bones are made up of phosphorus, and that phosphorus will not go to blood, but blood is going inside the bone and coming out. Whereas if a phosphorus from externally it goes to your blood, then that may leads to severe diseases, like some brain cells will die. If the brain cells will die, then we all know that what will happen, that is mental disorders and post traumatic stress, which means they will have a problem of some mental disorders. All this is due to contamination of water, so that you have to take it into account. Okay, then high temperature are associated with mortality rates in India, and heat waves is especially affect the outdoor workers. Air pollution is a combination with increased temperature will also affect the health of the people. And one more thing, you have to be very cautious that increase in temperature will affect your mortality rate. Okay, so studies has found correlation between prevalence of vector-borne diseases like malaria and rainfall in India. If it is more rain, automatically these fellows come into picture, they play a major role. If rain is more and if it is more water is stagnated, automatically we are prone to disease like malaria. So we should take care such that that is not happening. Okay, then adaptation. Based on extensive research, the report recommend mitigation measures to conserve agriculture, water supply and air quality. These three things we have to do. One is on agriculture, then I have told about water supply, then about air quality. Agriculture losses could be reduced by 80% if the cost effective climate resilience measures are implemented. Okay, like there are some ways you can have that green color cloth, so try to utilize it and try to reduce the temperature rise, but it is cannot be done for all types of agriculture, only for some types we can do. Then reservoirs will partly addressed by the problem of water scarcity, so all the reservoirs sediment have to be removed, which means in dam what happen is water is flowing and coming and it is being stopped in the dam. So at the time what happen, the running water will become will bring fine particles of sand and deposit, so you have to remove it all, so that then only the reservoir can store maximum water. So reservoir with partly address the problem of water scarcity. Water management in Indus, Ganga, Brahmaputra and other rivers like basins could benefit for integrated coordination among Bangladesh, India, Nepal and Pakistan. See, it is like beyond the country, beyond the boundaries of country. So if we all work together, then only you can say that, because these rivers are not just only flowing to one country, they are crossing two countries or three countries sometimes. So all the countries has to take care such that you doesn't contaminate the water, so that it can be used properly. The effect to decarbonize electricity production in India is projected to decrease mortality due to reduced PM5 and PM2.5 particulars. All this are terms related to the quality. Then the policies to increase public transportation, that is what I have previously told. You have to go only for public transport. Promote walking, cycling and reduce private cars will increase the air quality, decrease the health burden, particularly in urban environment. So everyone should buy a bicycle. Okay, this is not that, see, we have developed, why you want to go back to the previous case. It is not like that. It is for a good health as well as for good environment for our future. The report notes that abandoning the use of biomass fuel or coal for indoor cooking will lead to an improvement in respiratory and cardiac health among women and children in India. See, literally coal burning is good when compared to petroleum products. See, there is a two person, one is called carbon dioxide and another called carbon monoxide. I think you all know both are not same. One is more poison than other, which is nothing but carbon monoxide. So when you burn your fossil fuels, there is chance for carbon monoxide, and this carbon dioxide, it is slightly, the problem cost is less. So if you burn charcoal and all, you will get carbon dioxide, which is somewhat allowable compared to burning your fossil fuels. So what the report says is go for biomass or go for coal, so that what will happen in indoor cooking, you get a air purifier or respiratory problem will not come, and cardiac health among the women and children in India. Okay, next comes Asia perspective. The Asia's perspective on the whole, we see about our continent. The continent of Asia is expected to bear one of the largest of climate change. The IPCC report states that the people settled across different topographic and region will become vulnerable to this effect. People living in low-lying coastal zones and floodplains are most at the risk for the climate change impact. Half of the Asia's urban population lives in this area, which means our coastal area is more compared to other continent. More than 90% of the world population that is exposed to tropical cyclones lives in Asia. Rising sea level with component the effect of such storms for the people living in low-lying coastal areas. The rainfall induced landslides will be a threatening settlement on unstable slopes and in landslide prone areas in some part of Asia. We all know that it is because of the Himachal Pradesh. Then changing precipitation patterns are likely to affect crop production and consequently affect 81% of Asia's rural population that depends on agriculture for livelihood. Vulnerable growth in urban area will be more susceptible to ill effects of frequent and intense heat waves. Warmer weather may all leads to epidemics of coastal Bangladesh, then that is comes under the in China, and in outbreak of rural children. The vector borne disease like to spread in near future. This is like corona. They say corona, malaria, cholera, all such things. Okay, can increase. That is what they say. So finally, according to the synthesis report, adaptation is being facilitated in some areas of Asia through mainstreaming climate adaptive action into development planning, early warning systems, integrated water resource management, agroforestry, and coastal reforestation of mangroves. Okay, so this has to be done. So they are taking action, but not on the full part of Asia. In some part of Asia, it is going on. That some part includes Japan and all. Okay, so now we should also do such things so as to improve. Okay, that is what the conclusion is. So we have to do something for our nation. That depends upon all the population who is living. So we can try to reduce, we can make the climate to come down, or that increase in temperature can be brought down by proper utilization of your available resources. You are supposed to use, like what to say, you have to use public transport, you have to use bicycle and all such things. Okay, then indigenous knowledge for disaster risk reduction. This is nothing but from our mere ancestors. They followed some good practices, and we should learn the lesson from them, and we have to follow that same procedure nowadays in order to reduce the risk. See, we say science has developed, but our ancestor, they have followed some methods. That methods are very good, so you should not avoid that methods, and you have to follow, stick on with that methods in order to reduce the disaster. Okay, so first one here we are going to see about 3 different practices which is been followed, and even nowadays it is being followed, but now there is some deviation. Due to the deviation, disaster effect is more. Okay, first one is earthquake safe traditional house construction practice in Kashmir. So in Kashmir they are having 2 methods. They are traditionally they following for construction of house. This traditional construction of house in Kashmir has made them to come out of earthquake safely from the earthquakes. We will see what is the 2 method. Then environment friendly shelter solution in flood affected desert regions of India. This is in Rajasthan. The way they built the house, as what happened in 2005, there was a flood, but the old way of building has helped them to come out of floods. Then soil and water conservation through bamboo plantation. So all coastal areas, if you plant this person called bamboo plantation, then you can a disaster management technique adopted by the people of Assam people. So in Assam they have done this. So various part of India they are following some methods that can be used, so that that traditional method is reducing the disaster risk. Okay, so first one, it is TAQ system. TAQ system is nothing but putting windows. Literally that word means window, but what they are doing is, you can see this 2 photos here. Under the windows, wherever you see window, okay, here you have windows, similarly here you have windows. So beneath the window they are running a wooden plank. Okay, so wooden is being run here, similarly here. So intermediate of the brickwork they are running this wooden. So what happens is, this is like shock absorbers. So even some earthquake is occurring, this is try to protect. See here also you can clearly visualize. See here, this particular line, it is nothing but they are placing wood. So they construct from the bottom and they place this wood, again they construct. So what happened when earthquake is coming, this is like just putting a cushion and try to prevent it. So that is what a large piece of wood or timber are used as an horizontal runner, okay, embedded in the man, which is nothing but inside the wall. Masonry wall is nothing but the wall which you build. These runners are located at floor level and at the top of the window also. So floor level they are running, then at the top of the window also they are running. So here you can see it clear in this picture, that's about this window they are running. Here also they are running, but it has been plastered. So because of plastered, it is not able to be visualized. So these runners tie together all of the element of the building or house and keep the entire structure in contact, thus preventing spreading and cracking of your building during earthquakes. Second one is this particular way. Here there is some much more thing. What they are doing is not only your horizontal, they are putting crisscross wood structure. This crisscross wood structure is in. So the timber frame not only have a vertical element but also have a cross members which divides the masonry into fill into various small panels. So this is a small panels they are only filling, remaining is wood. The most important characters of this type of construction is the use of lean mud mortar. So here to build they are not using cement and all, stone with mud, okay. So common practice in the region, it is used to subsystem in upper story walls. So only this crossbar they are not using at the ground floor, they are using only at the first floor. That is what is being told here. So in the upper floor you are doing. So by this, when you try to construct, you are trying to escape from earthquake. See, you can see here these buildings are not as per standard it is been built, like they are not built by their own traditional method. So if they are not built by traditional method, that get affected. Lesson learnt is building conditions were found to be quite poor due to the lack of earthquake resistant features in existing houses and building, and in case where traditional knowledge has been applied using the two methods, the houses built were able to withstand the earthquake. So by the method the traditional method followed, that house has not entered into any problem, and if they are not used to the traditional problem, that buildings are affected more. This is nothing but in the year 2005 where Kashmir received an earthquake, okay. Then house constructed using quietly material like load bearing with stone in cement and lime and bricks in cement mortar performed poorly when built without proper and adequate professional knowledge. So only with, see these two building you can see the difference is they have not used that wooden, that's all. They have used only cement stone or cement brick or cement with some other thing. So that is not providing strength as strength provided by the traditional way. So that is what they mean to say. So traditional technique for the house construction have not been properly employed in the recent times. In recent times they are not following the old method. So these techniques needs to be reintroduced in order to demonstrate their advantage over modern techniques, okay. More Kashmir mason should be impacted training for constructing the home like traditional way, okay. So this is what the conclusion. So next one is environment friendly shelter solution in flood affected desert region of India. That previous example what we have taken is in Kashmir in 2005. Now we are taking a problem which has occurred in Rajasthan in 2006. Unprecedented heavy rain and flooding in several villages of otherwise drought strike Burma district, which means normally it will be, you will not have any water. Now it has rained heavily, okay, that is what they mean to say. So state in Rajasthan in western India, over 100 hours of continuous rain inundated several villages in and up 30 feet of water. 30 feet of water, think what will be the height. Such rains and floods had never been witnessed in this region in over 200 years of record history, and the local communities and administrative system were not prepared for such emergency situation. But the way they built the house, the traditional building house, has protected them. So the Hani, Dhani, is the way they build. So it will be a circular like region, full circular, and this is mud with cow dung. Repeatedly they will coat for every 6 months, so that made that thing very thick. So this is an arch roof, they tie with a nylon rope, okay, then wooden, so cross wooden thing they put, so they put a arch roof there, okay. So you can even see what happens is the community leaders set an example. All their house will be built by this traditional way only. All this traditional house escaped from the flood. So that is what they mean to say. The community involvement in construction of settlers, usually this is the procedure followed in Rajasthan. So they will help each other and try to build. Availability of local material at no cost. And they have taken mud and only cow dung, so that is low cost. Then extreme climate condition can also withstand this building. You can feel cool inside that particular house. Good design for safety and comfort, okay. So I will show the diagram. This is how they have built it, okay. So it is able to withstand that flood, and this made an example why that should not be followed all the places, okay. Next comes your soil and water conservation through bamboo plantation, a disaster management technique adopted by the people of Assam, okay. So again, this bamboo plantation along the canal bunds of the local people of Assam villages is the main way has benefited their village. With the plantation of bamboo, one of the Assam most prevalent vegetation, and canal bunds are kept from being bleached of soil and is kept from further erosion. The only thing is the bamboo plants grow such that they tightly hold the sand or the land. So when there is heavy water also, that flood is going to remove the soil, because these bamboo plants are protecting. Although flood covers every area in Assam, this technique has maintained and protected the embankments and has kept bridges and roads from damage during heavy rain. So since even water raised, nothing happened because of the bamboo plant. If that bamboo plant was not there, then all the sides of your canal will be removed, and even that will remove your bridges and roads, okay. So that is how they escaped. While we cannot prevent an earthquake, so this is while we cannot prevent an earthquake or hurricanes from occurring or volcanoes from eruption, we can apply the scientific technologies and technical knowns how issues in early warning and volcanoes and cyclone. This is the last topic for today, and even last topic for unit number 3. So we have say that we are developed in science and technology. So what we have developed in science and technology can be used for early warning system. Early warning system is you have to predict before the occurring, and once if you have predicted, that has to be properly transmitted, or it should be to should reach all the people. So then people can get rid of it, but somehow you can try to manage the disaster. So that is what they say. So let us see. Though it is not possible to completely avoid the natural disaster, but sufferings can be minimized. So by a disaster there will be suffering, and that suffering you can minimize by creating proper awareness of likely disaster and its impact, by developing a suitable warning system, disaster preparedness and management of disaster through application of information technology tool. The major tools are like GPS, then remote sensing, then internet, and warning and forecasting system. how we are going to warning and forecasting is to be done. Okay, so all this we will see with respect to India now. So GPS and remote sensing. GPS, I think you all know, it is global positioning system, and remote sensing is nothing but going with the aerial views. Okay, if there is any disasters occurred or going to occur, with the help of the satellite information that can predict their occurrence in advance. For example, cyclone and all. Now with respect to satellite view, we are able to predict where the cyclone is starting, how the cyclone is moving, all that we are able to predict from your satellites. So that can be used to get the information. So this two fellow plays a major role, GIS and remote sensing. Okay, so remote sensing makes the observation of any object from the distance. Remote sensing, like aerial remote sensing, which is the process of recording information such as photographs and images from the sensor on aircraft or satellite, or remote sensing with consist of several satellite remote sensing system, which can be used to integrate natural hazards assessment into development planning studies. So from there you can satellite, you can see about how, where the cyclone is formed, how the cyclone is moving, what is the speed intensity the cyclone is moving. So if it reaches the land, what will be the speed, what will be the direction of the cyclone, and all that thing you can record. Then internet is the person with the help of this fellow, whatever the data which is obtained can be distributed to the entire world. Okay, even if you are not reading the cyclone, Japan can read, and it can transfer through net to all the countries that something is happening and that is going to travel in towards Asia. So any one country, Asian country, if they read it, and they can transfer to the all. Okay, so launching of well defined website. So whatever I read, I should forecast in my website, and you can see meteorological department is available in India. Similarly, all Asian countries have their meteorological department. So if they maintain proper website, then I can go to that website and directly get the information. So that is major advantage. So that is being done only with the help of this technology called internet, where everything is interconnected. Okay, in the most critical phases of natural disaster, electronic communication have provided the most effective, which means electrical and electronic. Electrical is wired, electronic is wireless. So that is what they mean to say. So electronic communication has provided the most effective, and in some instant perhaps the only means of communication, okay, in the world. So whenever something is happening, only with the help of this electronic communication we can communicate. So your entire internet is electronic communication. Somewhere you go with wired and somewhere you go with wireless, and like satellite you send the data and receive it. Then warning and forecasting. So based upon these two fellow, GIS and remote sensing and internet, I have to properly forecast. So IMD, which is nothing but Indian Meteorological Department, provides the cyclone warning from the area of cyclone warning center that is there in each and every state. It has been developed the necessary infrastructure to originate and disseminate the cyclone warning to the appropriate levels. So they have placed in all places. So they will communicate to that place, and it will be reaching to all media and all. It has made operational a satellite-based communication system called cyclone warning system, which is there for India. We are using the satellite-based method for detecting. Then this already we have seen. Seismological observation is nothing but the instrument used to record earthquake in the country are made through the national network of 36 stations. So in India there are 36 stations. For each and every state we have 1 or 2 stations are there. This station will be continuously monitoring the earth movement, and if there is any change in earth movement, or that is nothing but earthquake, that will be recorded by these stations, and that will be transmitted for the entire state. Okay, flood forecast. So first what we have done is for cyclone, second it is for earthquake, and third is for Flood forecast and warning are issued by Central Water Commission. So 2 mark they will ask what is the role of ACWC. Then they will ask about what about the role of IMD in identifying earthquake, and they will ask in what is the role of CWC. So CWC is nothing but flood forecast and warning, which has been created by Central Water Commission, a ministry for water resources. These are used for alerting public and for taking appropriate measurement by concerned administrative and state engineering agencies in the flood hazard mitigation. Finally, conclusion. So development leads to disaster, and the same development is going to help the people from getting out of the disaster. So both the thing is there, only we have to use properly. The development we have to use only in proper direction. So development leads to disaster, as well as development is there to support us to come out of natural hazards. So it may be observed that advancement in information technology in the form of internet, GIS and remote sensing, satellite communication, etc. can help a greater deal in planning and implementation of hazard reduction. For maximum benefit, new technology for public communication should be made use, and the natural disaster mitigation message should be conveyed through these measures. GIS can improve the quality and the power of analyzing of natural hazard assessment, guide development activities, and assist planner in the selection of mitigation measures and in the implementation of emergency preparedness and response action. So this is what with respect to unit number 3. We have started with development leads to disaster, and development will also help us to come out of the disaster. So that is what this unit number 3 is. So let us stop the presentation.